folks. So here I'm in my backyard. Today's my wife's birthday. She's in the backyard with me, um, reading The Placebo Effect by Dr. Joe um, Dispenza. And I just want to give you an update because I believe the last time I spoke to you was on the 9th. And so yesterday was a hell of an experience for me. So woke up in the morning, did my meditation. Another fabulous experience, and then started my day. And then by 1 o'clock, I came outside. But actually, my wife went to go pick up the girls from the Girl Scouts, and then she went to church. So I came in the backyard and in my zero gravity chair that I'm in now, and I just sat in the sun. I came out with the every intentions to read my book, the Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. Excuse me, trying to part me. My hand kind of gives out after a minute. So something just compelled me not to read the book, but just sit here in the back position, laid back position, and just enjoy my backyard and being in the sun. So that's what I was doing. And then we're just producing a whole bunch of thoughts and into the future of things that I wanted and what I saw for myself and what I saw for my family and my future self, basically. And I went into a meditative state, like it was crazy, and I became just so thankful for being alive and breathing and just life in general and everything else. I don't know how long I was in that meditative state for. I didn't bother looking at the time, but I just everything was just so serene. But here's the kicker, right? So I open up my eyes. I'm looking up in the sky, and I'm just basking in my environment, and I tell you, I really couldn't. I was just very grateful for once again being alive, for life in itself and experiencing it. And then when I came down into this position that I'm sitting in now, I'm just looking at my backyard and I'm realizing, and we just moved into this house March of this year, and and I got a funny story about that because we have so many different trees here that we only knew of one tree that we had, which was a lime tree, which is somewhat behind me in the back there. I don't know if you can see it. Somewhere back there. Yeah. And we knew of that. But what we didn't know is that we had like a persimmons tree, or even an avocado tree, or a guava tree. So getting back before I digress too much, but staying back on track, I'm just sitting here and I'm looking and I'm like, man, you know what? The person who planted these trees, they really had a love and appreciation for life, and just the backyard in general. When we moved in, they had some flowers back here and pottery plants and stuff like that, but they were losing life. It wasn't as beautiful as it was before, but you could tell that it was that way. And you can tell that the property owner was trying to, or the property management, was trying to upkeep it, but they were only having a gardener come in once a week. But anyway, before I digress even further, I was just appreciating my backyard and appreciating that this is the house that my wife wanted to move into. And when I looked around and I really started to look, because remember I was in a back position, so laid back position, so here you go, hold on a second, in back position, and so I was looking at the leaves on the trees, but when I came back down, I started to notice a lot of death, and it bothered me because I felt connected, um, during my meditation, and I really started looking, and then I'm like, oh man, I gotta breathe life into these plants again, and it was just very bothersome to me, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to breathe life back here. I'm going to get this thing going again, and really put my energy and my vibration into this backyard and into my house. And like I said, actually last week Monday, before we went to, before I was had went to go see my functional medicine doctor, which was November 5th. I think I did the video November 6th, I'm not sure, but it's posted already. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so that Monday, my wife had a meeting and came home for lunch, and I sat down on the bed, and I remember telling her, like, I can't, I gotta be vocal about this. I can't keep holding it in. I'm not gonna do what I did 7 years ago, and internalized it when I was first diagnosed in 2012, November 15th, 2012 to be exact. But I told her, it was like, I'm gonna vocalize it, and I'm gonna get everybody in my circle, my tribe, vibrating at the same frequency that I'm gonna have. In fact, this house is gonna be vibrating on my frequency. And now I said that last week Monday, and this is before I I even heard of Joe Dispenza. But when I saw my functional medicine and doctor, and my wife's boss mentioned to her about Joe Dispenza, and she mentioned it to my functional doctor, Dr. Kakai, and he sent me the video, and that video set me down a path of constantly, every day, watching every YouTube video that I can get my hands on non-stop, until I decided to do the meditations and try to meditate on my own with no guidance, because I've never really meditated before, but understanding that I needed to listen to what he was saying in regards to keeping my thoughts in check, and then starting all over again. I did that for 3 days before I actually had a breakthrough, and from then every day I've been having a breakthrough 3-4 times a day. But yesterday was a feeling of love, because in my fourth chakra, your heart, I was feeling, when I was back here, it was just a feeling of love that I exuded when I was connecting to just being alive and life and what I felt. And I immediately went into action, and I started watering all the trees and plants out here, and trying to breathe life back into them. So I made a commitment that that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And it's funny, from what I told my wife last week Monday about having this house vibrate to my frequency, and now actually making that happen, because I'm out here with my feet out in the soil, and I'm not that kind of person. I don't like my feet out, but I just feel connected. I feel connected to everything, and I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not what some people may say, a hippie, or whatever the situation may be. I never used to be vulnerable, in a vulnerable state where I'm able to talk to you here on YouTube, and just be like, yo, this is what's going on in my mind, or this is what happened to me, because I just the old me. It's like, why am I putting myself out there like that? No. But quite frankly, right now, I just don't care. Um, it is what it is. For those who know me, whatever you may think, it doesn't matter to me, because I know what I know. And I know how I feel, and I know where I'm going to be, and I know what I see, and I'm not forcing it to come my way. It will come my way, you know. So fast forward, I go inside, I go take a shower, once again, meditative state, and I'm getting all of that, but it's more than just a meditate. I'm getting all these feelings from my fourth chakra, and it's just like, and every time I get that feeling, I just breathe in and I exhale it out into the life force, that energy around us that gives animation to all life, and with nothing but the highest and most good intention. But I kept feeling that, and once in a blue I would feel it in my second chakra too, but for the majority of that day yesterday, it was my fourth chakra. And hold on, my hand is getting weak. Hold on. Alright. So it was just, I was just receiving and transmitting at a high level yesterday all day that it became so overwhelming. By the time I got out of the shower and got dressed, my wife came in and we started talking, and I could see that there was some concern on her face, and so I asked her what's going on, and then she told me, I don't know what we're gonna do, I'm just kind of concerned, can you get your supervisor to put the release date for, the 29th, the day that you were out, and started being out of work when you got admitted to the ER, instead of my actual release date, which was the 8th. And my job, just to quickly explain to you, I work for, LA County as a long-term temp, but that's a whole nother story in itself. So basically I'm there for at least 11 months, 10, 11 months out of the year, and then they bring me back, to work the next election or whatever the situation may be. Anyway, before I digress down that rabbit hole, so she was concerned because I was missing a lot of days of work, and if I'm not working, I don't get paid. But I had to reassure her, while we were in the bathroom, that listen, I'm not concerned. Whatever I lost, we're gonna get back 10 times fold. I didn't know that I didn't pay into state disability, so I can't get any state disability. So I'm like, we're gonna get all of that 10 times fold. I've already seen it. I'm not concerned about it, and I was able to ease a little bit of her worry, but she believed in me, but it was just able to relieve a little bit of her worry. Fast forward in the day, she's like, wow, I gotta eat, I gotta feed these kids. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll pay for it, don't worry about it. And she's like, no, it's not that, I just gotta, we gotta feed them. And so she went out, got Chipotle, and she comes back, and we feed the kids. And during that time when she's prepping their food, so they can eat, and when I was in this backyard, I had so many different visions, and I had visions of life back here, and and the whole story here is that I saw that a small dog. Now, my kids has been trying to ask me for a small dog, but we had a dog prior to moving here. Actually, prior to moving into the last place that we moved out to, we had an actual townhome. And before we moved into the townhome, we acquired our pet while we were living in my in-laws' guest house. So, anyhow, that experience, it just kind of hurt me. because I had to give the dog up, and I was the only one working with taking care of the dog and doing things. And so I always said I can never do that again to another life where I can't give them the love and attention that they need, and because I was so involved in not living, which is what we all are, working a 9 to 5 and just trying to survive, right? So that insanity. So anyway, I saw a dog, and I was like, there's a little dog hole to this back of the house that we have, and I envisioned it, and I just saw it. So when we sat down to eat, I said, kids, I got something to tell y'all, and but first I want to tell you my experience that led me to this thought. And I said, now, I haven't spoken to your mama about this yet, but I'm going to tell you what I experienced when I was in the backyard. And my youngest actually helped me water the backyard during that time I had her come out. She helped. But to stay on track, I'm telling them everything about what I feel, and I'm going to breathe life back into this backyard. And, because it's not bad now. I mean, it's pretty decent. And I'll let you see. But but the flowers and stuff, I know we have rosebuds and so many different beautiful lilies and flowers. I want to bring life back into that. And so I explained to them that, and I said during that I had a vision, and that thought that I had, I saw something small, and I was building up to the anticipation for that. And the youngest one, because she's a logical thinker, so she was logically staying along with me with the story, so she kind of had an idea. But my eldest, my daughter, she an emotional being, really highly emotional. And I can feel the build up in my fourth chakra when I explained to them. I said, listen, I am very open to getting a small dog. And when I came out with that, when that came out of my mouth, and my daughter heard it, and the emotion that she felt from it, and she just started crying because it came from a place from love. It was just straight love, right from the heart. And I started crying, and my wife started crying, and my little one started crying. And it was just a real emotional state there while we were all in the kitchen. Hold on, my hand is starting to give out. And, and then we all eat. It was such an emotional, beautiful moment. And then my wife and I, it's probably around 8 o'clock now. My wife and I'm tired. And I even said, yeah, I'm tired. She was like, yeah, let's call it a night. But we ended up staying in the kitchen talking. I'm in my wheelchair, and my wife, pulls up the chair, and we're just sitting there just talking in the kitchen, talking. And during that process, I'm feeling so much, and we're going over, Dr. Joe Dispenza's book and what I believe and how we believe, just things, just going over that stuff there. And my lower back was pulsating, but I didn't want to tell anything to my wife. But I knew what that meant because, my symptoms involved being completely tight from my upper torso or all across my chest, down to my abdomen, down to my groin area, and my lower extremities, and both my hands. Not my arms, just my hands. But then one later symptom came on that I never told my wife either, is that I went completely numb. My tailbone all the way up to the mid-upper back, and then my lower extremities going down to my feet, where it just went numb. So I had tightness with numbness, and it just wasn't a good look. So I started feeling a pulsating in the back of my back. And I tell you, ever since I was in this backyard, I was getting, and I told my wife this too, like, just my fourth chakra, I just kept feeling a relief. I would breathe in when I feel it, and then exhale it out. But I just kept getting like this energy of love. It's like, and it was such a beautiful thing, but it exhausted me completely. It energized me, but exhausted me. So, you know, then my legs started to feel like, the feeling when your legs are asleep. I mean, yeah, and then it starts to come back to life. You don't have the full function in that. You don't have the full feeling of it yet. So, along with the tightness, the tightness didn't go away, but the numbness went away. And that was I wanted to tell my wife that, but because, her birthday, which is today, I've been in the house since last, 2 weeks. I've been in the house. I can't drive. Can't go nowhere other than my backyard and my house. So I couldn't even get her a gift. And not even having the money to really get her a gift, for saying, oh, do Amazon. I'm sure that's what someone's saying, but that's not a gift to me. And, even to take her out. So I said I was going to give her a gift of letting her know that, that this is real. Like, here's some evidence. Here's more evidence, because I'm already convinced from my first day when I told you I got this gravity chair. Yeah, I paid for it, but it wasn't due until the 14th. It was supposed to be here on the 14th, and it showed up. On the 12th, and it showed up on Saturday when I needed it, really needed it when I was out here. So, man, like, all of this is real, and I am so confident. What I see, I've already did it, like, and I keep seeing it, and I keep doing it, so it's already embedded, neurologically in my brain. It's already there. There's so many things, and I've taken key notes of those thoughts that I had, because it's so real to me that when it does happen, I'm going to show the people, hey, here's the date. Look at the video. I knew this was going to happen. I'm not surprised, because it already happened for me. I created my future. I was the creator. And yesterday was such a beautiful moment to see my daughter, she felt that love, and I asked her, you felt it, right? And she was like, yeah. She was like, are you serious? I was like, yes. Yeah, that was a beautiful moment. And yeah, so I ain't afraid to be in the present. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. I'm not afraid to be, connected. Because when you disconnect yourself from this, man, it's not good. You harbor so much illness inside of you. You're not vibrating at a higher frequency. You continue to lower your frequency, and that's not good. So anyway, look, for those who have doubt in regards to the power of healing yourself, or what they call spontaneous remission, or, hey, as my hashtag, reverse my diagnosis, or die trying. Well, I'm reversing my diagnosis, and I'll be using that as evidence, because I have multiple lesions on my brain and my spine, and when I go 6 months to get my next MRI, you'll either see a reduction or no lesions on my brain or my spine. And I've already seen it. I didn't see any. But that's where we are, man, mentally. And I'm going to keep recovering. Little by little. It's going to take time, but I will recover. And, hey, I'll speak to y'all till next time.